Welcome back to the Big Blue Lifers podcast. I'm Mr. U. That's Jess. We're here to talk all things New York Football Giants. We're talking about a W today. What's
A
up, Jess?
very unexpected one, too.
I will take it, sir. That's fantastic, man. I ain't gonna lie, I've been pumped, man. This is the kind of team I wanted to see. Guys playing good, effective on all different levels, man. But before we get into all that stuff, man, real quick, man, how you doing, brother? What's going on with you?
Things are going well. Got some more apartment tours lined up. It is quite the process. And, for unlike last week when we were recording and I said the apartment touring was more exciting and more worth my time than watching the Giants play, I ended up having to miss a good chunk of this game due to a work event. But, of course, that's the exciting, the good, the happy stuff.
You said that, and look what happened.
They were like, man, we got to go out there and prove Jess wrong. He cannot be more invested in this apartment touring than watching us.
Watching off of what he said out of his mouth. What Jess started doing.
They had that players only meeting and used our podcast as motivation. Like, look at what we're doing to these guys. Look at what this guy is talking about. We can't be having this.
This could be a trend. But we're going to get into this. Is our special for you guys that are watching and listening for the first time, or you see us on the screen and you're kind of shocked that we're here. This is a special Monday morning episode of our show. We bounced around a little bit between Monday and Tuesday, so just keep us in your calendar for Monday and Tuesday. You never know. But we are here. And we're talking about a big blue win, so we are definitely excited about that. Let's try to hit some of the highlights and stuff and little details. But first off, the Giants they broke a lot of records, a lot of new highs with this game. It was Dart's first primetime start. They pretty much pushed around who just not discussed are pretty much not just the world champions, but they were Goliaths in the trenches, offensive and D-line. And our defensive staff pushed these guys around, specifically Jordan Mailata, all night long. Controlled the line of scrimmage, just dominated. So another high that they did, or I would say a new thing, is that they were dominant in the red zone offense. When's the last time have you seen that? They had multiple trips inside the 20-yard line, and they scored touchdowns on all three of their red zone possessions. That I can't recall when that's happened. So there's a lot of things that were just new. We got a chance to see the defense that we thought was always there. And we weren't seeing, they were running stunts. They had Abdul Carter out here fooling people out here, and Kayvon getting big hits. And Dexter Lawrence woke up. I mean, Spider was just on fire. I think he tied for the lead in sacks going into Sunday's game. I'm not sure if it's still a top of the lead now, but it's so a lot of things happening, man. I hang on the Giants front, but it's all good news, man. But what did you see, man? What do you want to get into a little bit?
Yeah, I think the big thing that I want to talk about is obviously the energy that Dart and Scatabo have brought to this team.
Oh, yeah.
And, I mean, it's really incredible. And, there are a couple angles that you could take with it. One is the whole what if angle. Like, what if Dart had just started the season? Like, I know they had promised Russ he would have the job to start. But what if they had truly made it a quarterback competition? And it clearly seems like Brian Daboll wanted Dart to start from week one. Like, we talked about that on this pod, that it seemed like he really preferred, but we thought it would be best to let Dart wait and sit a bit. But I want to focus on the positives. And the positive is that Dart clearly can play. His ability to maneuver the pocket and extend plays has been the difference. It really has. Like, where Russ would be caught from behind or not even able to escape, we see Dart just, no pun intended here, but dart around, bounce off his own lineman, get outside, throw a bullet to Wandale on the sideline. Wandale's able to shake a tackle and he takes off. Or Dart literally is able to, the pocket's collapsing, step up, no one's open, just goes, runs it in for a near 20-yard touchdown. like what Dart has been able to do, even though the numbers aren't like, he's not throwing for 300 yards and 4 touchdowns. Granted, he had 2 touchdown passes dropped, one by Lil Jordan and one by Jalen Hyatt. So he actually probably played better than his numbers suggested. Having a guy that can do that is the difference. I mean, that is what the modern NFL is. Long gone are the days of Eli and Peyton and Breeze and Brady and, guys who were these, 6'4", 6'5", 6'6", 240, 250 pounds, who were kind of statues in the pocket, like just like a little move up, a little move to the left, a little move to the right in order to evade the defensive lineman, and who were just slinging it from the pocket, just the pure pocket passers. That isn't what the NFL is about anymore. And between Dart and his ability to extend these plays and make something out of nothing, and the sheer insanity that is Cam Scatabo as a person, there's just a life in this offense that we have not seen I guess since 22, but even this feels a bit more.
No, keep going.
I guess it would be maybe 2015, because even in 2016, it was Eli hit Odell on a slant and Odell work your magic. At least in 2015, it was a much more. Eli, that was arguably 2015 was arguably Eli's best season, and that includes 2011. Yeah. But I can't. It's been a long time for me, so just to have that kind of game.
It's been a long time. What you said earlier, I don't want to get past that. I think that's a really valid point. The day ball piece of it, and I know that we're going to be talking about some more game stuff. I'm going to try to spread it around a little bit, but now I'm sitting here wondering, like, okay, you and I never really felt like Dart should start, but in hindsight, looking back at it, what's our record if he started? And on top of that, even if we don't have an answer for that, just out of speculation, I'm imagining it's going to be better than a 2-4 record, I would imagine.
I think we're at least 3-3.
In hindsight, it's kind of hard to see it. Not especially the team that we played and how they played, and they had to just kind of let the game just sit there, almost giving it to us, and we couldn't take it. I would say so. But what did I say about Dayball now? Because now we're talking about we've been on the Dayball watch, like how long is he going to last? How long can he survive the season? Now we're sitting here thinking, like, what if Dart did start and we had that kind of record? This man off the hot seat completely. He's almost justified in doing everything he did to get Dart in the draft in the first place. All the arguments that Giants fans got against him are nullified. This is basically a gun with no bullets now. The man's almost not untouchable, but he's not far away from it now. It's like we can't say anything about him at this point. So it's like, you got to own that part, because you can't talk about.
No. I don't disagree. I'm not disagreeing with what you're saying, that like clearly Daboll off of this game as of right now is a bit more validated. Like
I'm not even talking about this game. I'm talking about in the speculatory sense that if Dart started and we had a record that was a winning record, we're talking about the whole. It's different now. It's a different conversation with him. I'm like, I don't know what it looks like now with that. I mean, I want to get into something else real quick. See if you got a yes or no to it, because I know this is not your favorite topic. But one thing that we know also is that, and I'm pretty sure that Dayball had some hand in the decision made with Saquon. I can't believe that he didn't get some kind of say in it. I can't believe it was Joe Shane only. So we know, and I was unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, it's a good thing. In this local geographical market for college football, they show all of the Arizona State games, obviously, because they're on the West Coast. I see them all at night when I'm ready to go to sleep. So I've been watching Cam Scatabo all year, I think the past 2 years, late at night on a Saturday night, watching him play. So when it was time for the draft, I did a draft special for one of my shows. I said, you know what? I want Cam Scatterbo on the Giants. I'm sure Dave all felt the same way. And I would kind of feel like I brought it up because this is documentary coming out that I was texting you about Saquon. And the details already bad already. It makes the Giants look really, really bad. But then you mentioned that against what Scatterbo was doing right now. And it's like, okay, how bad is it exactly? You even said it last week that, financially, that was the right move. But then you hear this documentary talking about Saquon said, I would have took 10 or 11 million.
That is such a lie.
If it was addressed correctly. I mean,
that is such a lie. Like, here's you know me and how I loved Saquon when he was on the Giants. When I played football all throughout high school, I was the number 26. So seeing a guy who played the position I started at running back, wearing 26 on the New York Giants and be a star, I love that guy. And then what he did, stabbing us in the back that way. And again, it's not that he left, it's who he went to. No, like, would people have talked about, like, oh, if he had gone to, let's say, the Bears or the Texans, and he still had a great year, and people in the media would have still all been like, oh, the Giants really could use a player like that. It wouldn't have been what it was. It was because he went to Philly that it wound up becoming as big of a deal as it became. And he knew exactly what he was doing, choosing to have it release last Thursday. He knew exactly what he was doing. But the idea that he would have taken $10 or $11 million when we offered him a bit more than that in 2022, in the midst of a great year,
if the numbers are correct,
in the midst of our playoff year, is the biggest lie. The Giants story has remained consistent. His hasn't. He's come out saying all these different things from, we didn't even offer him a comparable deal. Disproven. Now he's saying he would have taken this. That's there. I don't have all of the things that he said in front of me, but his story has changed a couple of times, it sounds like. So, but I don't want to focus on that. I want to focus on the Giants and the here and now. And Saquon can go cry because we whooped his butt and he had 2 good runs and then had like 27 yards in total after that first drive. So he can go cry in a corner.
10 runs for 27 yards, no points in the entire second half. The Giants defense shut the world champions down. Bottom line. I just brought that up because the Dayball conversation has to change. This thing is not something I'm excited about. I mean, I know that he loves Dart, but I didn't think that he would love him enough to give up a draft pick for him. That's what surprised me. I'm like, wow.
It was only a third.
No, the one that he's about to give up, and this investigation goes the way it's supposed to be going, because he went into that tent when Dart went in for the.
He's gonna get fined. We're not gonna lose a draft pick over that. We're gonna receive some heavy fine. I haven't seen anything about the Giants could lose draft capital.
Yeah, I read it, but it's like, again, it's just speculation because nothing happened yet. But I definitely read it because I wouldn't have said it on the air if I didn't see it. But
I'm not saying I don't believe you. I haven't seen that.
I hope you're right, because a fine is much better than losing draft capital when we got a bit of a short list of draft picks to start with going into this season. So into the off season. So I ain't excited about that. But anyway, back to the game. Your boy, I'm not gonna say I told you so, but your boy said, man, you know what? We were talking about getting a wide receiver free agency or via trade. It's still being discussed. I was talking about, man, we got Lil Jordan with the height advantage mismatching out here. It's going to help out. Somebody must have heard us because Lil Jordan was out there, out here trying to ball. Came in off the practice squad after last week against the Saints and not being elevated to the main roster. Jumped higher, leapfrog Bo Collins, and out here making plays. I think he had 55 yards on 4 receptions, which is like what most of the QB2s on our team had been doing all year long for the most part. So That was a fantastic. He was a big help, big mismatch out there. I hope they keep that going. But you excited about seeing little Jordan Humphrey out there? You want some guys to come in from the trade market still? Because I know they're out there shopping right now. But how you feel about that?
This is something that I am very frustrated with the Giants about, and we talked about this last week when we were discussing the loss to the Saints. Why didn't they elevate him last week? Why did we enter last week's game with 2 empty spots on the roster? We had 2 spots available for players, and we didn't elevate anyone. We didn't sign anyone. Why did we take that approach? And that is the thing that is going, especially since, look, we are all riding very high, but we still have one of the hardest remaining schedules in all of football. We are by no means going to the playoffs. We are by no means guaranteed to still even reach 6 wins. And we still have a very difficult schedule coming up. And we entered last week almost feeling like we beat the Chargers. We're going to beat the Saints. But that is an NFL team, across the field from you. And you need to approach every game with the same level of intensity and respect for your opponent. And we enter that game with 51 players on our 53-man roster. So I'm just so confused as to the decision-making and the week-to-week consistency from this regime. I don't know if that was a Shane decision, if that was a Dable decision, or what. But whoever made that decision, that was the wrong decision. And then we see here that, as you had been saying all offseason, and you're pushed to have Lil Jordan on the active roster going into week 1, Dart clearly has a rapport with him. They clearly know each other well. Dart knows where to put it up there for him to go up and get it. He's just someone Dart, spent the whole year or off season working with the 2s and 3s with.
That's what I wanted.
And I just don't understand. He was a huge from the literal first drive, catching a 34-yard bomb down the field on 3rd and 12, and he goes up there and just bullies. I forget if it was Ringo or whomever, but Dart saw, hey, we have the size mismatch. I'm just going to put it up for him. And Lil Jordan went up and got it.
Yeah, and I'm with you on this one because, yeah, we are on a high, but I think we got things in perspective. I think we had enough angst to pass the first 4 weeks of the year that we understand that, you know what, we can't ride too high, we can't get too low because this team has talent on it, and we've been talking about it in the preseason, I would say, or in the off season. I felt like this team has potential, and I look at the numbers, even with the O-line play. I'm like, these guys. I've seen O-lines that are they may not be ranked by ESPN as low, but talent-wise, they're not much different. So I know these guys have the ability to do that. Having Andrew Thomas back there, 100% of the snaps, that definitely has to help out in some kind of way. So that's a good thing. But we have real talent on this team. I think we can do more than what maybe perhaps we originally thought. But for me, I'm challenging what we're talking about with the coaching. I mean, some of the decision making, I don't understand that, because last week we talked about the Saints. I'm like, honestly, and the Saints just got the brakes beat off of them yesterday. It was pitiful. You know what I'm saying?
That game was not as close as the score made it look.
It wasn't. It was really, really bad. And that's more of an indictment of why couldn't you beat that team? And I feel like, coaching wise, we're not prepared for what they had to bring. How can they shock you? You should be ready for this. But they weren't, and I'm like, so that's what makes me nervous about the coaching going forward. That's why I can't get much so high. I'm like, are you gonna be prepared for this? They were on a plane after a really bad loss. I read this 2 days ago. They were on a plane after a really bad loss in New Orleans, and they had the game plan ready for their Thursday night game against the world champs. And they came out there and played with heart and efficiency and smarts that we haven't seen all year. So I'm like, so what was the difference? If we can just bottle this and do whatever it was, I don't know if it was somebody in charge of play call, I don't know what it was, whoever was doing what they were doing, let them keep doing that, because that could be a difference between a season where we underachieve and people are losing their jobs to a season where, you know what, perhaps we can have a few surprises this season, whatever that means. I'm not going as far as to say nothing about our prediction. Numerically, it's still possible, the prediction that we had, but at this point, if you can get past what we had with a 3-win season last, if you can conquer that, my God, that's a start. We look at the opportunities in the offseason. So you know what? Could have won that game. This was in hand, so and so and so, and we evaluate whether it be coaches, whatever it is, man. But this is like, I don't know if we could trust the coaching, because I'm like, it's so many ups and downs, so much back and forth. It's like, why is this happening? So I'm not. it's keeping us on our toes. We can't even get comfortable, because we like, the Saints beat you by 2 scores. I'm like, why we, what's going on here? And you did even worse to the world champions, a team that was almost destined to or predicted to repeat. And look what happened. They got shut down. So I don't understand what's happening. But anyways, what else we got, man, on the roster for this Big Blue Life episode, man? What else we talking about today?
Well, in keeping with the Jackson Dart assistants, I mean, there's a lot of speculation that the Giants are going to try and make a move to acquire a wide receiver. There are some popular names out there like Jerry Jeudy, Chris Olave. What's his face from the Raiders?
Kobe Myers.
Yeah, thank you.
I told you I like him. Of all those choices, I like him the most. But
I think he makes the most. I think it would take the least to get him, and if we then decide that, hey, we want to resign you, you're on the wrong side of 30, maybe we could get him for a cheaper deal. A Chris Olave extension would be pricey. I don't think a Jerry Jeudy extension would be necessary. I think he's signed for a few more years. But when I want to know, how the heck are we going to take on the salary there? There's all this speculation. Are we going to be giving up, are we giving them Evan Neal in this deal or something? Like, I need to know what is going on that we will be able to take on.
All you want, but what kind of return are you going to get for him? You keep on trying to get that man away, but what kind of return do you think you're going to get? That's my question.
No. As in, are we giving them, for Jerry Jeudy, let's say, are we giving them second this year and Evan Neal? What would it take to get these guys?
I don't like that at all.
That's my point. What is it going to take to acquire these guys? Are we giving them a 5th round pick and then some? We're gonna need to fill salary cap. That is something because we have the least amount of active available in-season salary cap of any team in the NFL. That is. I've seen people speculating that a team like the Chargers, who need a running back, do we move off of Devin Singletary, maybe get an extra 4th, and we're going to use that 4th in a deal or something like that? There's just a whole lot of things that are we still got a few weeks before the trade deadline, but I just don't understand how we would be acquiring any of these guys.
I heard that one, and that one actually makes sense to me, because I kind of feel like if they really still believing in Tracy, there's no point in Singletary being in. So I get that. Evan Neal, I think those are 2 guys that was on both yours and my list from, was it last week or week before? Starting to blend together, not sure, but about team of a guy that we would love to see them moved on and get some capital for them or something.
One of the guys I listed was Bobby Okereke, because I think that would free up about 12 to 13 mil.
Yeah, the way he played yesterday, he might garner a little bit more than what we thought. That people were looking at, you know what? That's the high point, that's the potential of what this guy can do. Because he played very well on Sunday. So
obviously Russ is a possibility.
Yeah, I just don't. It's just multiple teams involved in this. Maybe getting a 5 here or 6 here or 4 here. I'm sure that could probably work, but there's a lot of guys on our roster that they're not going to be here next year. So you might as well go ahead and try to get something for them. I mean, draft picks. I mean, I'll take a whole string of 4 and 5s because next year, I forgot the number because we looked at it, not sure if it changed, but we don't have a whole lot going. I know there's no comps for us. I remember that part, but we need as many draft picks as possible because we got a lot of spots to still fill it and bolster. So, yeah, man, we can look at that list maybe on a different episode, maybe next week. That list of guys that we think maybe need to be moved on and what we can potentially get for them. Maybe find some teams to theoretically match them up with. That'd be a fun exercise for us next week. Cool with that? Can we try that out?
Oh yeah, definitely try and see what we could do with any like these trade sims and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, let's do it.
But before we end up hopping here, because I think we've touched on a lot of things. We haven't really talked too much about the defense. I mean, they had their players only meeting, I think, led by Burns and Dexter Lawrence, I think I read.
Yeah.
And it seemed like they really felt they needed to have like a man-to-man conversation and just, talk things out. And the defense did play well, especially in the run game. I mean, Kayvon Thibodeau has been amazing this year. He has evolved so much as a run defender. I mean, the way he was setting the edge and containing Saquon, like you can just, it was a thing of beauty. They did not play Deontay Banks. It seems like they finally decided Flott had the best camp of his life and he's having the best season, which isn't anything truly spectacular, but he did have the biggest play in the game with that almost pick 6. I think he returned that 68 yards, I think it was. Really kind of ended the Eagles' chances of coming back because it was still a 10-point game at that time.
Fantastic play. That was fantastic.
But at the end of the day, the Giants' defense was kind of helped out by Jalen Hurts missing what would have been like a 94-yard touchdown pass to Devontae Smith, who was wide open. Like there was no one within 10 yards of him. And then on that Cordell Flott interception, he missed A.J. Brown running free. It was a 0 blitz. There was no safety help over the top. And if he had thrown into A.J. Brown, there's a very real chance that that was just an easy walk-in touchdown. The Giants, again, also were helped by the fact that Jalen Carter didn't play in this game. The Eagles were so scared of the MetLife turf that Jalen Carter might have actually been able to play in that game, and they just chose not to play him because they were worried that he would worsen his calf on MetLife turf. That is how bad the turf is viewed around the league. And the Maras aren't going to do anything. The Johnsons aren't going to be doing anything. They've announced that there is no changes coming to the MetLife turf. And then I think the Eagles had a few more defensive players go down during the game. So the Giants have arguably their biggest test of the year coming up this week with the Broncos. The Broncos have best defense in football.
Biggest test of the year?
I would say so. From a Giants offense versus opposing team defense, I think this is easily the biggest test of the year so far. Jesse Minter liked disguising coverages, but sending 4. Eagles, disguise coverage, send 4. Broncos blitz. The Broncos have the best pass rush in football, arguably the best secondary. I think statistically they have the best run defense, and they also have the highest graded offensive line. Now, the Eagles were a bit banged up. We're going to see what happens with them in 2 weeks when we play them again. But if the Giants are competitive against Denver, if they're still able to move the ball, put up some points, even if we lose that game, I think there would be a lot of positives to take from that. But we knew going into the year that this was going to be the start of like the hardest stretch of the schedule, because I mean, yeah, we beat the Eagles. Huge shock, big surprise, very positive. Now we're going to Denver. Then we're at Philly. We got this game against the Eagles at home, but now we're going to Philly, to Denver. Then we're home against the Niners. And that Niners team is so banged up. Fred Warner, best linebacker, best off-ball linebacker in football done for the year. Maybe we do something there. Bears, got to see how they look tonight, but they haven't looked like anything special this year. But then we've got Packers, we've got the Lions, we've got the Patriots.
I watched the Packers yesterday. I'm not worried about it. If we do what we did Sunday, I'm not concerned about them. But what
maybe,
else?
But this is going to be a very difficult stretch of the schedule coming up, and
that's the whole season. But that game, you can't tell me that game wasn't the biggest challenge for us
so far this year. But I think now the next challenge is more challenging because if nothing else, the Broncos are healthy.
Well, every challenge for us is going to be the next challenge. I mean, come on.
But if next week, if instead of the Broncos we were playing the Raiders, I wouldn't say this is our hardest challenge coming up. That's not what I would be saying at all.
We didn't say about the Saints, and look what happened. We got smashed. So
I know, but my point is that on paper, the toughest game so far, based on how they've looked this year, is this upcoming one against the Broncos. Broncos offense, I mean, their offensive line has looked phenomenal, but it's really that defense. I want to see Jackson Dart against this defense. They're going to be sending heat. They're going to be sending the blitz. Are we going to be able to scheme guys open against Pat Surtain? It's going to be a challenge, not just for Dart. It's going to be a challenge for Dable and Kafka. We're going to have to see if Andrew Thomas, who's been truly unbelievably amazing since stepping back in full time, he's going to be going up against a guy who's right now, I think, the front runner for Defensive Player of the Year, and Nick Bonito, who, if I am not mistaken, leads the league in sacks right now with 8. Then you have Byron Young at 7.5, and then you have Burns at 7. So, but sadly, man, I do have to go. Got apartment tours, got to, get this, and, soon enough I'll be recording. You won't have Eli in the background anymore. So,
wait a minute now. Let's not get hasty. Why is Eli not going to be in the background?
Because that is going to be really difficult to get off the wall, and he would not be easily transported. I've had him up there since I was like 8 or 9 years old.
You better get a new Eli behind you. Don't. I got Eli in front of me. His jersey's in front of me. I got 10 in front of me. You better get 10 behind you. Don't mess this thing up for us, man.
All right. Yeah. I'll see you soon, man.
No worries, man. Thanks for jumping in, brother. Appreciate you, brother.
Bye.
Right. So we're going solo for the rest of this episode. So we talked about a lot of things, a lot of different details that I thought were just fun stuff for us to talk about. Honestly, I'm on a high. I know just as he's a little bit measured. I would probably say I am too, based on what we've been seeing. But I think the Giants showed that they had the capabilities to be that team that we thought they could be. So I'm excited about it. Some more information regarding Jackson Dart, I think it's also to mention this because people talked about whether he was somebody the Giants needed to get to come back into the first round of the draft to get. He's the youngest quarterback to beat a 3-0 team that was the Chargers, and the first rookie quarterback in NFL history to start his first 3 career games with opening drive touchdowns since 1991. Third quarterback, along with, I believe it's Mahomes and Lamar Jackson, in the Super Bowl era to rush for 50-plus yards in each of their first 3 career starts. I think that is incredible. It's a testimony to who Dart is, what he brings to the team. And like Jess said a little bit ago earlier in the episode, the energy that Dart and Scabo are bringing to this team is phenomenal. And I know that you can't buy a lot of stuff based on energy. It's not the best currency in the world, but I tell you something, this team looks different. They're playing different. It's a whole different vibe to him. I can see now that when Russ was starting and he would come out into the field, the fans would start booing. The body language of the players would start to slump. Their shoulders would slump. I'm like, what's going on? I thought they liked Russ. I thought they were down with Russ. It's like, wow. And when Dart would come in, everybody's lifted up. It was a tangible difference, a noticeable, a palpable difference, if you will. So I'm excited about seeing this continue. I love what the Giants were doing, man. They ran a lot of 21 personnel on Thursday night. And I love that, man, because they had the tight ends super efficient on blocking, and it made a difference for the run game. Scatterbo was finding lanes, and it was just, the Giants were so super run heavy. I think they ran at a clip of 61%, which is like, yeah, you want to do that. That's the kind of football that I grew up watching. That smash mouth football that we hear so much about the New York Football Giants. It didn't come from them throwing deep passes and touchdowns and running slants. It came from, hard-nosed quarterback, Eli in this case, or Sims, give the running back the ball, and guess what they're doing? They're just running people over. And they just dominated the time of possession. They dominated the rushing yard comp, and they just did that routinely, and it was part of the success and the part of the Giants' identity. So I'm personally loving, to see them come out here and put in that kind of work. I think it's just something to watch. Also, the Giants scored touchdowns on each of their first 2 possessions for the second consecutive week. Now, if you're a Giants fan, if you're somebody who's casual, that won't mean anything to you. But if you've been watching this team, at least for the past 4 years, at least, you see how rare that particular occurrence is. The good teams are doing that on a regular basis. They're doing it every single Sunday, every single Monday, every single Thursday. It's the first time since 1978 that we have done that, according to the Elias Sports Bureau. 1978. That trend is god awful. But they've been making some changes. They've been having some quick starts to the game, and I really believe that Dart is a big part of that. So for those that are wondering if Dart is the one, or if Dart is the future, you can stop worrying about that. Dart is most definitely the future. He's a big reason why we're looking at where we're looking at. We're winning games in the manner in which we're winning those. A lot of stuff going on that I definitely want to get into a little bit. So we talked a lot about the defensive play, but specifically, Kayvon, Abdul Carter, and Spider. They had probably about 40 to 42 defensive snaps on average between them. I've never been prouder of our linebacker core, man. I haven't been proud of our linebacker core since back in our championship days. I haven't been prouder than I am right now. They jammed the Eagles offensively. They contained Barkley. They held Saquon to 10-1 for 27 yards. You know that this could have been easily a revenge game. Easily. This could have been a revenge game for Saquon, not even us, for Saquon. 10-1 for 27 yards. Push Jordan Mailata out around all night long. All these stunts and all these disguises, and they just had the Eagles on their heels pretty much the entire night. And like just was saying earlier, the issues with Jalen Hurts and the turnovers, and they were just concerned about that along with the turf, and they just had them on their heels the entire game. So really proud of Kayvon and Spider and Abdul Carter. These guys are the future. I hope Kayvon does come back. You never know. He's on that last year, but on that option. So hopefully he does come back. What's going on with Javon Holland and Paulson Adebo? That's what I'm wondering about, because the more that we get into this deep part of our schedule, we play these teams, not that the Eagles weren't until they're the world champions, given the props that's due them. We're going to be playing teams. We're going to have some powerhouse wide receiver ones out there. How Javon Holland and Paulson Adebo are going to hold up against that? I mean, Newton basically had the majority of the action out there Thursday, and it's like these guys, Holland and Debo, they account for a lot of the money that's on this team contract wise, and we haven't seen the kind of thing that we were expecting to see. We haven't seen the kind of production that we were looking for. I mean, Debo finished, I think he tied for second with 7 tackles, along with Dane Belton, who had one of the best games of his career, I would say, on Thursday. Big pass breaker, big force fumble that kind of sealed the game for us that Drew Phillips picked up. Newman had, I think, 9 total tackles, I think it was. And he's not even the guy that you are expecting that from, because it's supposed to be the Howland and the Debo show because of the money that we paid him. Floss out here, replaced Banks. Me and Jess kind of agreed that we didn't think Flott was the CB1, but he's been showing that. I mean, that step in front of Belton, it's not Belton. Blanking out on the young man's name, but the interception that's kind of sealed the game in the fourth quarter. Either ways, man, the Giants have been playing out of their mind. They've been striking first. They've been winning the turnover battle. And Thursday they showed that the heavy run game, it makes a difference. 61%. That's not heavy run. I don't know what it is. Some of it was from Dart himself. A lot of it was all scatterball, man. So those 21 personnel power packages they've been running, it's been creating lanes for scatterball. It's been a really good situation to see that and opening up play action for Dart. So I'm excited about what we've been seeing. I'm excited about the game in Denver. I know just as like it's going to be a tough task. I don't disagree, but what I saw Sunday, the Broncos look like they struggled a little bit to get to where they can pull that win off. They struggled. So if we're catching them in a good spot and we play this power winning game, I think we can wear them down. I think Knicks can be got. I think our defense is good enough to get to him. I think the O-line isn't bad, but it's not one of the best O-lines either. So I think that we can get to him, but we'll see. We have been playing a lot of very interesting football as a team. So we'll see what Giants team is going to hit the field in Denver in Mile High. Excited about this. If you guys got any questions regarding this monumental win for the Giants staff, drop it in the comments section. Love to hear from you guys. Jess and I be back on here next week fielding your Giants questions. But we definitely appreciate you guys watching and listening. If you have any questions for me, or you want to contact me, the QR code is in the upper right-hand corner. This has been the Big Blue Lifers podcast. Thanks again for watching. I'm Mr. U, just as already gone, but thanks for watching the Big Blue Lifers podcast, for watching and listening. Have a fantastic day. We're out of here.